Jiggy cat on a damn killing spree. This is Nagato, and you can't mimic my energy. 100 round drum, and me hanging like a centipede.
What's up everybody, this is Nagato Revenge and welcome back to my channel. For today's tutorial, I'll be showcasing on how to install PlayStation 3 games that are over 4 GB in size using FileZilla. With that being said, please be sure to follow my social media to know the latest hacking guides and tutorials from my channel as shown here. And now with that being said, we could go along with the prerequisites and talk about what items and what tools you need for this video. Of course, you need a modded PlayStation 3 that is on custom firmware. You'll also need the latest version of Rebug Toolbox since we're going to be FTP files over, aka our PS3 game of choice. We also need FileZilla FTP Client or any third-party client of your choice if you're more familiar with any FTP client. In this case, I'm just going to be using FileZilla. You'll also need the latest version of Webman or MultiMan. In this case, I'm just going to be using MultiMan, even though Webman does work with this method as well. And any PlayStation 3 game that is over 4 GB in size. We're going to be focusing on PlayStation 3 ISO games and not PKG files. I do have a video of that on my channel as well, and I'll link it up in the card right now. But with that being said, I just want to give a special thanks to all my subscribers and supporters and anybody who watches my videos on a daily. I really do appreciate y'all guys. But with that being said, let's get started into the tutorial. Alright, so assuming that you guys are back on your PC and you did follow all of the prerequisites as I stated in the intro, we could go ahead and focus on this part of the tutorial. But one thing I did miss in the intro via the prerequisite, you do need a USB drive that is formatted to FAT32. So before we even get started on the PS3 stuff, I'm going to show you why with this tutorial why it's even relevant. So if I go over to my USB drive, for example, and the PlayStation 3 has to be on FAT32, or your USB drive I should say has to be formatted to FAT32, you can't basically transfer over games that are over 4 GB in size. So right here I have a ISO version of Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm as shown here. And if I go into properties right quick, and then if I go into details, you see how it states that the game is 7.75 GB. If I try to transfer over to my USB, you'll get this error message because on FAT32 USB drives, you can't basically transfer over files that are over 4 GB. So this method I will be showing you today will kind of, bypass that using FTP client. With that being stated, let's go ahead and plug in your USB into your PC, and then I'm going to explain each of the files that we need via from here. So if you want to load up your games via Webman, which most people would like to do, for this tutorial I'm just going to be using MultiMan. Both ways are the same kind of method, but I just want to use MultiMan since for beginners. Webman is pretty easy to set up as well, and I'll leave a description or either in the description below or above in a card somewhere on how to set that up as well for this process. But what we need to do first is verify if our USB drive is formatted to FAT32 by right clicking over your USB drive, going into properties right here. If your thing says FAT32, you're already a step ahead and you don't have to reformat your drive. But if your thing stated that it was like on NTFS or exFAT, what you need to do is back up all your data on your USB drive, if you do care about it, to maybe like another USB or your desktop, or on your desktop or something. But what you need to do now is go ahead and go right click over it, hit format, and then as shown here you'll get this little menu in Windows, and then from here it'll state your file system. So your file system, if it's on NTFS or exFAT, make sure that it's over on FAT32, and then where it says allocation unit size, you could go ahead and hit default allocation size or whatever your USB states at the moment. For your volume label, you can name it anything, and also make sure you have this checked right here where it says quick format, and make sure it's toggled on, and then you can go ahead and hit start. But before you guys hit OK, like I stated before a little bit earlier, to make sure you back up your data, because anytime you try to reformat a USB drive or hard drive, most of the time, or no, if all the time, it will basically erase all your data once it reformats. But assuming that your guys are on FAT32, what we need to do now is go ahead and transfer over our PKG files. So I'm going to be doing a MultiMan method as well, as I stated before, and I'm just going to go ahead and drag it, all 3 files, to my USB, and it has to go into the root of the USB. And now what we need to do, once our thing has successfully been transferred over, we could go ahead and close this out, and then right click over here to basically safely eject our USB drive. And now what we need to do is basically go to our PlayStation 3, and from there we're going to install the PKG files, and then I'm going to show you guys on how to transfer our game via with FileZilla. So I'll meet you guys back onto the PS3. Alright guys, so since I'm back on the PlayStation 3 as shown here, what we need to do first is go ahead and install our packages. So please make sure that your USB, as I stated before, is formatted to FAT32 and has the PKG files that we need for this video. So what you need to do is go to your XMB, go into Package Manager, go into Install Package Files, go to Standard, and then via from here you should see your homebrew of choice. So if you're going to go ahead and install Webman, go ahead and install that. If you're going to install MultiMan, go ahead and install that. And if you're also going to install Rebug Toolbox, go ahead and install that. But if you already have Rebug Custom Firmware already installed, then you don't have to do that process, since if you go into install packages and then go into PS3 system storage, Rebug Toolbox should be in this directory right here, since run Rebug basically embeds the actual PKG for Rebug Toolbox in the firmware. But what we want to do now is go ahead and make sure our Wi-Fi is on via here. So if we go to our network settings, and then see that basically my Wi-Fi is enabled, and what we need to do now is basically run Rebug Toolbox right here and boot into it. Alright, so as shown here guys, basically I'm in Rebug Toolbox. What we need to do is go ahead and go into information settings. As you see here, I basically have my IP shown up on the screen. So in my case, it's 1.1.12. yours will be definitely different. You could go ahead and leave your PlayStation 3 on standby right here and don't touch it, and we could go to our PC to run FileZilla FTP Client, and what we're going to do then is type our IP in, and then we're going to go ahead and transfer our game over. And then once that is done, we'll go ahead and run MultiMan and actually run our game. So I'll meet y'all guys back onto the PC. Alrighty guys, so since we're back on the PC right now, what we need to do is go ahead and open up FileZilla. As I stated before, you can find the download to this in the link in the description below. But what we need to do now is go ahead and type in our PS3's IP, and I showed you guys how to do that by going into system information into Rebug Toolbox. So in my case, this is my IP. Go ahead and hit quick connect, and now if you have your Wi-Fi on and you did type your IP correctly, you should see all your directories for your PS3. And the directory we're going to be focusing on today is dev_hdd0, aka your hard drive. And if we go here, scroll all the way down where it says PS3 ISO, you will be able to run PS3 ISO games. So we're going to take our game that is 7.75 gigabytes as shown here, and we're just going to go ahead and drag it over. Now, as shown here, this depending on the game size, it may take a while. So if you're trying to do like Grand Theft Auto 5 that is like 25 gigabytes, or a game that is primarily large in size, it may take a while. So what I'm going to do here is go ahead and pause the video, and then once this process has finished, right now you should get a notification once it's done, but I'll meet you guys back once that process has finished. Alright guys, so as shown here, if I open up FileZilla, as you see here at the successful transfers tab, basically my game has successfully transferred over, and as you see here, my ISO image is in this directory. So what we can do now is go ahead and X out FileZilla, and from here we can go back to our PlayStation 3 and run MultiMan or Webman of your choice and go ahead and boot our game. So I'll meet you guys back onto the PS3. So as shown here, I did exit out of Rebug Toolbox, and now I'm going to go ahead and run MultiMan. And once we're in MultiMan guys, as shown here, if we go to our game, we should basically see our game of choice. So here is Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, and all you have to do is just basically go ahead and click X to run it, which I'm going to do here right now. So as shown here guys, once it takes you back out to your XMB menu, you should see basically your game loaded or basically already preloaded from the ISO mounter within MultiMan. Now what you could do is go ahead and run the game, which I'll be doing here shortly. And as shown here, guys, this is basically Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, but as shown here, I have to install the game data just since I didn't have this game previously installed. But yeah, that's how essentially you do this process. But with that being said, my name is Nagato, and thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys have any questions or any concerns on this process, please sure to DM me in the comment section below. But with that being said, I'll see you guys next time.